This video describes the new version of the Industry Watch service by Merlin Scott Associates, and this is the dashboard view, which is where you would see what you would see as soon as you logged on. The reports area shows details of the last 3 reports, or up to 3 reports that I've downloaded, and any changes that have happened since the time that I downloaded them. The recent reports area displays a graph from the last report that I downloaded. To view industry averages on the screen, I would use the industry averages side tab here, which I click, and it opens with the first of the A to Z listing of reports, which have been researched by Merlin Scott Associates. There's some 970 odd of these, which is abrasives. So one thing to mention here, the different series of averages, we provide 4 series, as you can see by the color coding here. The red series is all companies. It's confirmed up here, but if you hold the cursor, you can see it displays as well. The yellow series is the large companies. The blue series is the small companies, and the green series is the best practice. So these are averages calculated from, or these last 3 are averages calculated from subsets of the entire group of companies in the actual report. So what I can do here is I can draw graphs of averages that interest me. So for example, I could compare gross margin and operating margin between these 3 years. For the best practice within the abrasives industry, and I can graph those. I select them by clicking, and then I just draw the graph by clicking up there. 2 versions of the graph. I can toggle between them. Basically, you can draw the graph as a line graph or as a box chart. Okay, so the next thing to mention is the SIC codes. Not really recommended for benchmarking, because the SIC codes are pretty vague, and some of them are good, but mostly the SIC codes are too vague really to be particularly useful. But the same idea. Basically, you can find an SIC code from the A to Z listing here. You can click on the listing that looks interesting, and that displays the averages for that particular SIC code. And then a new thing here is the search facility, which allows you to find reports that we have relating to particular keywords. So for example, if I type timber, it will list in the scroll wheel any report, SIC report or Merlin Scott report. You can see the SIC reports are numbered, which are something to do with timber. And what I can do is I can compare, for example, the averages for pallet makers and the averages for sawmills and the averages for any other sector, in fact, just by selecting. And then I can compare the best practice values of, let's say, gross profit margin between 2017, hold down the shift key, and 2012, and click, so that it selects all in between, just as it would on a spreadsheet. So that's the best practice firms for sawmills. Gross profit margin has been selected. And now I can compare that with the best practice for pallet makers for the same years. Again, click on the first, hold down the shift key, click on the last year, so that's 2017 to 2012, and then draw that graph, and it draws the graph comparing those 2 sectors. You can also view or download the spreadsheet values for these tables for these 2 sectors by clicking here, or you can download the PDF report by clicking here. Moving back to the dashboard now, you can go directly to particular sectors, and again you can do searches for reports, and in this case I've picked all 4 reports here that were returned by a search for asbestos. I can look at, I can receive either the PDF version of the report, so if I click here, it will download all 4 of those reports in PDF format. Here we go, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the environmental testing report. There's the overall industry averages. This is the industry averages. Again, you'll notice the color coding of the various series on the line that agreed with the coding on the screen that we were looking at earlier. So that's a PDF report on the environmental services. There's the same thing for asbestos removal, same thing for demolition contracts, same thing for asbestos surveys. So I can basically move any report that I want and receive that PDF version of the report. Alternatively, I can request the spreadsheet version of the report by toggling to the spreadsheet here. Again, clicking here, and 1, 2, 3, 4 of the reports will arrive as spreadsheets, which I can open. Let's just open these 4. And they all open as spreadsheets in exactly the same format. So there's one on asbestos, for example, demolition contractors, asbestos removal, and environmental testing. So you can see it's very easy to get the information you want on any sector you want, and it's quite straightforward to find the sectors using the search facility. The last thing to mention on the dashboard is that you can get any help from the help menu here, and the way you would log out is by clicking here to sign out, and that will log you out of the system in a way that will allow you to log straight back in again without any problem. Thank you for your attention.